I actually had a chance to use this the other day because I was having an issue with my home cluster where basically it's kind of interesting because most Kubernetes is in the cloud. And so I run into some unique, actually, hang on, I don't put that up yet. I run into some unique issues because I run a Kubernetes home lab, which is like I had a brownout the other day, and one of my nodes didn't reboot for some reason. And when you have Kubernetes have an ungraceful shutdown like that, it thinks everything is still running, even because kubelet like kubelet's not reporting, so it just assumes it's running, and then basically I suddenly everything just started exploding all over my cluster, and all my stateful sets started failing and stuff. So it took me a while to figure out, but I actually did use K8sGPT to help explain stuff. And so I wanted to show you, this is what it's currently reporting on my cluster. Now, these two things aren't issues really, but what I really like about this is that for an issue that it calls out, and like it's specifying that, hey, this doesn't have a service, it's referencing a service that doesn't exist. And then it actually says, it lists out different remediation things I can do. And honestly, I find that really helpful because lots of times you see an error message and your first thing you do is you Google it, and then you search through comments, and then you basically find suggestions like this from different commenters. So to have it I just skipped 10 steps to get to, oh, here's the kind of the next things I should train on, I should do. That feels really valuable to me. So within this feature set, I mean, have you seen a huge adoption curve, interest? Have you had some real life stories that people have shared of how this has helped them beyond the one that I just shared with you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually, there's a secondary flag you can add in there, which is -D, and that gives you the official Kubernetes documentation on the resource type that's actually failed, right? So, for example, it will describe what is the service name, right? So the service name, and it will give you the blurb from the top of that, and that was contributed to us from somebody, I believe, who worked at SAP, or it might have been Spotify actually, but they were saying that there is still a level of prior understanding involved. And of course, we need to be reasonable here. But if you add these things in, precisely, this is really starting to build almost like a guardrails of, let's say I'm a new SRE to Kubernetes. That makes a big difference to me, right? If I can just keep reminding myself and figure out that these things are documented and understand that these constructs can be understood, it really, really assists and helps us. And in fact, like with a commercial product, you get what we call PLG, right? Product-led growth. We have effectively features that are brought in by demand. In a similar way, with K8sGPT, many of the features that we're seeing have been brought in by user demand. We've actually got users at Alibaba, and one of the things I did was add in language, so it supports Mandarin as well. And of course, that was super easy with a lot of these inference APIs having multi-language agnostic outputs. So we now have a flag. You can set your language. So really, the way I've seen it evolve is in the usability of it, and see that people are sort of bringing little features that are making a huge difference at their organization.